Push it down a little bit. Hell yeah. Ding. Yo, 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 yo. What's up? Welcome to Ocean Waves, episode 19. 19, guys. We're at episode 19. Feels good. I'm on day 6 of the Gauntlet. Eight days in a row. Jason said something about continuing it yesterday, but if at this moment, I think with the album coming out, or not, well, coming out at some point, but Jason and I were talking about the deadline, or like the deadlines yesterday. He was projecting, I guess, the rush feeling of like it's not that long from now for May. So, but I think it's the same timeline I did when I did Here I Am. So I think we're on schedule. It's just iffy. It's just about doing. If I do more of it per week, it'll get done faster. So I think with that, I probably won't do. I probably won't do. I probably won't continue it right now. I think I'll probably stop at the 8, unless it's like it gets brought like on say Friday. I get home from work and Jason's like, "Let's do one." Um, then yeah, I would say I would probably do it. But if it's by myself and just being by myself, I think that I would rather spend, because right now it's like I have to do it. So I don't know if at this point, because we like let too many weeks go by where the day came in just like this, like no one really bit the tree, the podcast tree per se, like took the leaf off. Except so, but at this point, since I'm on the Gauntlet right now, like I'm more inclined to do it, and um, so in that, I'm just trying to, cause I don't want it to sound like it's like like it's work or like, but I think it's just because I'm on this journey. It's we have to do the work to get where we want to go. So this is part of it. It's not like in one way I'm forcing myself to do it because it's late right now, but has to get done. We have to at least catch up so that we're on the same schedule timeline, and and get it from there. And then if it's one or two, whatever it is. But I think once I'm done the album, it'll be a different mindset, um, and how much time I have, because then music will be as I feel like making it versus like trying to just get out this finish sculpting this thing that I've been working on. So, the podcast is something that I think people will enjoy. People who are watching now or will watch this one, I appreciate you. I just put out, so we can even, so this is 19. I put out 12 for tomorrow, the 11th or the 10th. So, and then it's gonna be Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday till we catch up. And then once we catch up, it'll be back to one a week. Or if we do, yeah, it will be back to one a week. You just get back on that line. And maybe once the album's done, maybe I'm more inclined to make this part of the daily routine. I think that's the weekly routine. It's like very easy to do it, right? Finding some time, 2-3 hours in your week to just sit down and share your thoughts and feelings and opinions. And maybe, I feel like I'm someone who's good at reaching other people, or finding the words that people need to hear or want to hear, or just speaking honestly and truthfully. That's just, no matter what I'm talking about, that people, a lot of the time, like most people don't hear the truth. So when you hear truth and you hear someone being honest, it's almost like refreshing, and you just want to listen and take in what you can take in and relate to what you can relate to, and pick up what you can pick up, and keep on moving with whatever information you gather. And since there's so many untruthful, lying, misconception, deception, subliminal messaging, there's so much that goes on that, I feel like if you create a space because you don't have to listen to every word that I'm saying, I feel like, but once I'm on this track and I fill the room for a say, and then through the speakers, if you're listening, filling whatever, if you're in the car, whatever, car, house, porch, whatever, like fill, I guess not in the porch because outside, but fill that space around you, and once that space is there, it just facilitates thought and growth and stuff like that. So, I think it's the transmission of energy, it's the care, the want for myself to be able to go back and listen to how I was and what I was saying at this stance time or whatever in life, that and that's one thing music is. You can go back and listen to music, and I can remember like where I was or what I was, maybe not exactly like, not on the day-to-day exactly what I was doing, but like just what my life was like at that time. And so it's beautiful to see the progression. So the music's one thing, but then just conversation and thought, because there's some things I don't put in the music, maybe not yet, or I just haven't thought of the right way to deliver it. Some things I'm very blunt with, some things you have to kind of paint the picture instead of just tell them what it's about, so there's so many ways to do it, whether it's going to be one that's funny, or something that's going to bring you information that you might have not known, or something spiritual or something like that. But I feel, I don't know what that crash was. It definitely distracted me, but it's all right. I feel like we're all on a journey, everyone, and some journeys you find the people that you're supposed to do it with, and you guys realize that, or girl realize that you're supposed to be together and supposed to do this thing and go on this quest, and some people are meant to do their own, and then in that journey there's always little side quests and everything like that. So in my journey, this side quest right now is to catch up on the podcast and just make sure that I'm doing my part as much as I can. And maybe a daily memoir or a daily of like what I'm thinking or talking about, it would be beneficial to people or even to myself. But I think because this is not the only thing I want to do, I want to make sure that if I do that, the process of what happens after I record this doesn't stall up. Because after I do this, like, I'll probably edit one for Friday, like tomorrow or the next day. And then over the weekend, I'll probably rock a day where I edit all of them once we've caught up. And once I get to that, then I'll be at a different spot because I won't be as clogged up. But then I really wanted to work on this music. And if the deadline is in Jason's thought of close, then I don't want to miss that. Or if it's, I'd really like to have it out on my birthday. So I'm going to try to do that. Or I'm going to do that. and we're gonna get it done. So, but after that, then maybe I will do one more often, or because the more I do it, the better I'll get, the more fluent. Maybe more people will want to come on it. Um, pause. Come join the ocean and rock with the waves. I would maybe that sounds a little better than. And that's the thing. It's like this day and age, words. That's something that's funny about words. Words. There's not like one word per like its meaning. There's multiple words with multiple meanings, and depending on how you think, you will latch on to a word and it'll mean this thing first, and then if you realize that it's not this thing, then what they're actually saying is this thing, go down the line. But most of the time, there's so many words that have now been used for inappropriate uses, right? So, and it's funny if people's minds go there. So you have to, like, if you're speaking and I'm speaking out loud, and people, that is going to be on this endless, wavelength in the data sphere of the internet, and anytime someone can find it. So, and they're going to clip, bro. People are going to clip at some point, bro. There are going to be clips here, clips that, clip. We got to clip our own stuff. That's part of the marketing of this year. That will come once at least, especially when Jason's album is done, and then mine will be on its way more than it is now. There'll be more, the blurriness of the future will be less blur as far as the near future, right, as it comes closer. So that will be something that we'll do. And that's another thing, even on myself, like, I have to go catch up and watch all of them back. Like, I've edited them, but you got to go back, all the way to, let's see, 13. Yeah, so I got to go all the way back to 13, edit all of them up to now, and then make sure they're out for release. And once I get to that, I think I'll have more. I'll feel like I've, just like the other day we were talking about completing tasks in one of these earlier episodes. Just completing like the little, or try to get the tasks out of your way, because there's always going to be more that come, but try to limit the ones that, if they sit too long, you'll become more of a burden than anything else. So I try to eliminate all those stuff that might nag you, in your day-to-day. So I just kind of want to do that. Get this burden off, not burden, but get this work off my shoulders, so I have more space and energy and time to work on the music and whatever else I need to be present for in the next little bit. So yeah, I feel good. I feel like I feel like change is very imminent. Yeah. So that's my synopsis off Jason's microphone. No topic usually, just riffing, and usually very truthful, very honest. And yeah, so I'm going to rock over to Calvin's mic here. Yo, it's Bino. I hope you enjoyed Jason's dog. I'm gonna move his mic. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna move this out of here just so that. Try to make sure that it's like, I don't want it to break or anything, So that's good. So what's up? Let's go something political or something controversial, right? Let's see. Calvin usually wants to do something political, but he doesn't want it to go left or right. He doesn't want to get clipped. Yeah, that's the word. He doesn't want to get clipped in the bad way. So, but let's do. Yeah. What do we think about the current state of the health department? Yeah, let's go there. Let's see. 2024 now. So roughly 4 years ago. Kobe Bryant died. Rest in peace to Kobe. Trying to sue, or he was suing a pharmaceutical company that he was a part of for using Black Mamba and then putting opioids in the medicine or the drugs or whatever you're going to call it. So he was suing them. He had court on Friday. He died on a Monday or a Sunday. I think it was Sunday because the Pro Bowl was happening. And there's a whole lot of stuff about that. But just like, okay, that's just pharmaceutical. That's odd, right? But then, a month later, the world seems to pause and go in a different direction because of a virus that seemed to, if you're unhealthy, it seemed to amplify that by just being like a very infectious virus that can spread, right? And it was bad. You'd be out for a week, or some people had different symptoms, right? What the reality of what that disease was or was not the reality that they were telling you, right? Or that they were portraying. So a lot of people were scared. I remember for probably like 2 weeks in March, I was like confused, and I was like, maybe, I guess you could say a little scared. Not scared, but just like, oh shit, like this is it. Like this is how it's like zombies are gonna start or something, And it's like, how long will this last? Is this it? Is the world different now? All that stuff. But then after 2 weeks, I kind of started paying attention. I started seeing things that, made me think that this wasn't as big of a deal as it seems. And I'm always already on the skeptical side of what they're going to tell you. So, but then then it's like you kind of start, then you see later down, a couple months later, one of the big things for me is that I didn't meet anyone who got it. My dad said he had it a couple times or whatever, but I didn't know anyone who got it and was where it was like all the people around them were down bad, and it was like really, it just felt like someone unfortunately got sick and you had to deal with it. And, but they seemed to bounce back pretty fine, So after a couple months, you're like, nah, this ain't really what it's made out to be. So then, in that moment, I was just like, I started really more getting like, what are they trying to do? Why are they doing this? Blah, blah, blah. And then the election's election year, so all that stuff happens. And then Trump's saying he's going to get the vaccines in. The Biden administration is saying don't take it. Biden wins, or Biden becomes president, and then they say like you got to take it, and it starts getting mandated in different countries and different places. You can't go if you don't have it. Doctors have been fighting this thing for a year, and now they have to take it or they lose their job. So many different things that it's an experimental drug that they made everybody. They made not everybody, but they forced people to take. NFL players who are on like the practice squad or just coming up, like how can you say no if they say you can't play or whatever? Like obviously, like Aaron Rodgers, Kyrie, those kind of people. Shout out to them for being outspoken about not taking it, and not in the sense of like being like I'm not taking it, but just like when they like just like what's the like doesn't matter, like if you got it, like just with all the facts. I don't really want to go into the vaccine like go battle all those facts or whatever, but just the fact that they forced it on people, and now 4 years later, and then 3 years later from that, 2.5, like what does society look like? I heard somebody talking about the life expectancy of Canada dropped 2.5 years. Because I know that Canada, like when I went to Canada for COVID for a couple months, like during COVID for a couple months, but it was in between the first revamp after like the summer and the winter came, like after the holidays and the new year, they kind of revamped it in 2021. They kind of came back strong. And as they were going stronger in it, when I came back here in Georgia, like it was like night and day, like crazy difference. Like I remember we went to the Outback with our masks on, because in Canada at the time, like you never saw anyone without a mask except for an old person like walking into the store like he's putting it on. Everyone's always masked up, you know, and then you could go to restaurants. So it was still like what's the point of this, you know what I mean? But at the point in time, you're playing NPC, you know, you pretend like you're an NPC so that you don't get bothered by anybody else, right? So, but then we went to Outback, and as we were walking out, these people were like giggled at us. And I was like, and Jason and I looked at each other and were like, what are they laughing at? And then they said, and then we realized that they weren't wearing masks, and what was this? And then you look around like, yeah, like so many people weren't doing that. So depending where you lived, you were either forced upon it more or not. So, and then the group think people, if you're in like a very lunch place where like everyone's like, oh, you gotta take, you'd be more like whatever. And that's what I think, that's actually a good point. What's the difference, like how many people are against the vaccine or against the mask but want you to take the vaccine? Like how many of those people are there, you know? But I mean, obviously different places like Asia, they had masks before anyone else, and for different whatever reasons and stuff. But now it's just, I feel like it's weird. Like when I see someone with a mask, I'm like, they're just so lost. Now that's my first reaction, and then I look at them and I kind of like try to check them out, like what their vibe is, and then from there I'll make my assessment. And more often than not, and it doesn't feel like it's someone who's like just trying to hide something else. They're hiding something, but they're not trying to like. I can understand if you have like a big scar or whatever, or something where people are like always asking, you're trying to avoid it. But other than that, it just feels like I feel sorry for them, just in the sense that it does feel like they're lost, and the information that they're taking in, fear and stuff like that. And there's so much more. I feel like there's so much worse to fear. I guess not disease or whatever, but because they're making so much shit like the Epstein, like 2 years ago, like I guess during COVID it was talked about, but you know what I mean? It just felt like you weren't allowed to talk about like the Epstein shit. And then now it's just like, oh, they're just putting people, like people are getting called out for being on the list or whatever. So it's like, why don't they just, it just feels like, it feels weird. It feels like a weird time that we're in. And then they're bringing up aliens more and like going to space. Like they had a crypto commercial with Matt Damon going to space. They had a Honda commercial where it's like, let's go, or like, you know, almost like Mission Space, like the next frontier, like some Disney shit, you know. Disney theme park shit, and then it just feels like they're trying to. It in some way I have this perspective that there's gonna be like a huge at some point there's gonna be a huge like truth drop where they're gonna not give you like you're not gonna be able to go you're not gonna get every single ounce of the truth in like a book that you can just go read what happened each year of our existence, but just in the sense of like what is out there, what's going on. Like there's gonna be like a revelate, like they're gonna allow it because they want society to change in a certain way, and it just feels like now they've been prepping society and gearing it up, maybe to, maybe in one way to maybe crumble our current one. The goal is to let drive us to destroy this like democracy type society, even though I don't think that it should be two-part. Like it's obviously not fair. There's obviously like corruption and greed and yeah, so it's not like it's not, I don't really believe in it anyway, but the idea of a democracy and a free people and things like that, it's been polluted for a long time, but now it just feels like they're trying to drive us into breaking down our current society. And once that happens, you're already in a state of renew, so you can take in this other X tier, and now you can, as humans, you feel like we're rebuilding our society. And while we do that, you just adapt to this other thing instead of having a perfectly good society. And then they tell you all this other things, and it's like it's got to be one or the other, So if it's one or the other, then that other thing has to go, and they don't want to go, Earth is a nice place. So, but yeah, it just feels like some of that stuff is going to come out more soon. Like, obviously, like the aliens, like 10 years ago, bro, like if you were talking about aliens, people would like look at you like, ha, aliens, yeah. But now it's just like everyday thing. Like, oh, there's an alien spotted here. Oh, blah, 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 But you, like, we're not really talking about it. Maybe not me, what I mean? Us as a society. It's just like, but now it's become more of like a modern idea than a crazy idea, which is weird, right? But at the same time, I feel like they've already shown you. Just go watch Men in Black, shit like that. They've shown you different things in different ways. So if you don't believe it, but yeah, so I guess where I started was, how do we feel about the healthcare system? Yeah, that. So after all that and everything that happened in the past 4 years, like there's people that still trust it, I guess, but it's like how much can you put your faith in this shit? Like they got years and billions of dollars of lawsuits that they've paid out, but the damage that caused is irreparable. Like it does not equate to the amount of money that they because of how much money they made. Like if they get fined $1 billion for lying about the vaccine or whatever you would say their criminal part in it was, the fact that they're all in cahoots with each other means that they won't ever get in trouble. But it's like that. What they did does not eat like they get fined $1 billion. They made way more than that. Way more. And then if you destroy that company, guess what? They probably have the second one, like the runner up, the vice president of the company, like the vice president, not the vice VP of the company, but vice president in the sense of there's a president company and then a vice president, and the president's gone now, so now the vice, and it's like, and then it would be whatever else comes with it. You might, and the thing about it is they always give you they always push you 2 steps back and then they give you 1 forward. Always. if you think you went, if we think that we went forward in a step, like the iPhone, like getting the technology, the iPhone was one step forward for mankind in the sense of being able to connect with people around the world or whatever. But the two steps that we went back are big steps with all the extra, and then there's more and more. It's a never-ending battle. Well, we'll get a couple steps here, but it'll be if you get a couple, that means that somewhere down the road or somewhere from behind, like we're catching up. It's always something. There's always like a little string attached, with the legalizing marijuana in certain places. The money's crazy, whatever. Tax so heavy. Of course, another thing to tax. So much shit. And then you go 2-3 states over and you can get arrested for it and spend years in jail. Like, it's fucking nuts that at least it's not like decriminalized or something. And even that, like having weed or marijuana be legal, that just opens the door for more people to try it and stuff, But I think the technology of like the iPhone and frequency towers and ads and commercials and big businesses and industries and stuff, that is so powerful already. And like cartoons growing up, like if you watch a certain set of cartoons versus a different set of cartoons, you'll probably have a different way of thinking as well as how you grew up and stuff like that. Kind of lost my train of thought, but what did I talk about? What cartoons you watch in one way determines. Yeah, how you think. Yeah, it's just so powerful. There we go. It's so powerful what they can do with technology that, by the time it might outweigh, I don't think it will ever outweigh whatever, but I think that in one way it's so powerful, like they GMO it too, so you get it so powerful that when you try it, you might not like it because you get put in such a far place than if before when you used to smoke, you would gradually go, be a slow journey instead of like, it's like a shot versus a beer. You'll throw up off the shots more unless you like have something wrong with your stomach that day, you eat something wrong, then the beers will fill you up. But more often than not, like if you go one beer, one shot, one beer, like, and you go 10 shots or 10 beers, you'll probably, actually, I don't know, because that's a lot of beer. I don't know, but maybe not the best metaphor, but just quicker and, you're not going to be able to handle it, and then you might be deterred or someone might be deterred, so there's always a string attached to that. So, but I mean, obviously, like if everyone smoked weed or took mushrooms at the same time, like almost like religion, right? Where it's like at this time everyone lights a joint, like, or if you don't smoke, like you meditate at that moment, or you do whatever it is that it's that relaxation and your indulgement into connectivity and things like that. So if we did that for like every noon in the area, and then it would be hard to get around the world, but maybe multiple times a day we have them, like every 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, so like someone's 12 is someone's 6, and so like depending on how your life schedule is, you could find your time to do it. And I feel like the world would be like, we would be humming like harmony, our frequencies would, what do the planets hear type vibe, what does Mars hear from coming from Earth right now? A lot of gunshots and sorrow and negativity and difference, but yeah. So I think to wrap up the topic was how do you view, I think some people still trust them, but I think when this stuff like this happens, people like on the fence are easily swayed to one side or the other. and they're no longer on the like you eliminate a lot of the fence people, and you kind of, and that's what they want. They want to separate. They want the two sides, right? They want two sides. They don't want more than that, and maybe three sides. They don't want more than that. But I feel like there should be so many. There should be multiple candidates, multiple for the presidency, multiple, outlets and avenues for people to get their voice heard, and overall, just honesty. I think that's what everyone really wants. Just some good old honesty, So I will wrap that up saying that I don't trust the pharmaceutical companies at all, obviously, and they're obviously attached to some big corporations, some big businesses, some big entertainment businesses. So it's just a weird, like, that stuff, like dealing with those big conglomerates. That's a weird thing, right? But it is funny. It is kind of baffling for me to see someone believe them, at this point with all the stuff that's come out, in all different ways, and I'm not going to sit here just going down the list of them, but just in recent time, obviously the COVID shit with the vaccines and blah, 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 that was if you were there for it, you can remember, like, there's still a commercial here and there about the vaccine, but now the flu shots one, they kind of brought in there, but not the same as it was. Like, Instagram's not all over you, so much, and there's definitely pushback. Obviously, big people like Joe Rogan and stuff telling you that there's alternative ways. And, it seems like whenever there's people who go against the norm, they don't want that doesn't want to be shared, obviously. Because why, if I can give you this solution to you, what's going on with your body or whatever, permanently or for real, actually helps you, versus like helps you for 2 weeks and you got to do it again, or helps you for 24 hours, you know what I mean? Because that's all money. They want you to keep buying it. Why would they tell you there's a cure for this if they want you to buy the medicine for the next 40 years, 30 years, So look out for that stuff. I hope some more of that stuff comes out in the near future. There's a certain documentary about Dr. Sebi that Nipsey Hussle was trying to do before he tragically passed away. I can't remember who said I think it was Chris Brown. Someone said that they were going to finish it, but we haven't heard shit about it since then. Where's the pre-promo? Where's the letting you know it's coming out? Maybe they're trying to keep it under wraps so they can just drop it. Who knows? Or did they just say they're going to, or did they just at the moment say they're going to finish, and then just like part of the reason why Nipsey's gone now is for that not to come out, That's how, it's tough to see, but there's people that have been out there that have been innovative, creative, receptive, and shown natural remedies for cures to some of these diseases, and they've been killed or shut down publicly or whatever to deter you from that, and instead take whatever ad pops up on the next game you watch or the next TV show, or even some of these kids shows that you putting them on there. We're like the only country, like one of two countries that televises pharmaceutical ads, so that's crazy, and then at the end of the ad they tell you everything that can go wrong with you if you do it, but come try it, so that's a lot of things. I mean, obviously if you drink a beer, like everything that can go wrong, like, or whatever, take this, take whatever can go wrong, but dude, it's just, there's got to be a better way than constant ads to spend money for health that doesn't even really get you 100% natural health, and then on the flip side you take it to get healthy, and then all this other shit happens, and then then you can't even sue because you died or whatever from it, your family sues, and then it's like maybe they get $1 million or a couple hundred, like it's cool, but only how many families actually get have the money to get to that point where they get the money back, and how many families go unnoticed, and it's just like maybe that $1 million isn't even worth the amount of love and care that dad could have given or mom could have given to their child or something like that. So it's tough to see. And I hope that as a community, as a nation, a planet, a people, we can come together and take a stand against some of these things that are going on, and not like stand physically, but literally like don't buy certain things, don't do, try to cut yourself from the restraints of the trap that they set you in by not having your own food. Like, I don't have a garden right now, but that's something that, we probably should work on and stuff like that. So the food is tough, but in different areas you can kind of pick your poison and whatever and start moving to a way where you can be self-sustainable and not be spoon-fed, having to rely on the spoon-fed information, food, and everything from the government. Because obviously we're not we're putting money in other countries when this country isn't even at its peak performance. And that's the main thing. You can't help anyone else if you don't help yourself, right? If you're not good, how can you help anyone else? So if we're not good, how can we help anyone else? How can we tell anyone else to try to be like us or follow me or do that if you ain't doing good or on a good path or trajectory? You don't have to be perfect. People mess up. People make mistakes. People aren't exactly where they want to be or need to be, but people on the path of righteousness and forwardness and growth, progression, love, unity, infinite, those people, we need those people. We need those people. It's good. Those people are the people that lead. Those people are the people that follow purpose, guide others, and are just overall just good human beings, and and it's not everyone's fault. Like, people are from the beginning put in this trap, in this, matrix, this maze, and they're bombarded by different information depending on where you're at, so it's not anyone's fault if they got scared and forced into taking the vaccine, blah blah. It's just, and it's nothing we can do about it now, and it's not something that you need to dwell over and whatever, but it needs to be learning lessons for the future, different decisions. What decisions will we make next time? And we need to say that you can't do this to us. You can't just put out a false product for money, watch it kill, alter, do whatever to people, and then just pay a fine and move on like nothing happened, and we just keep moving on, all for this money, all for all this money and whatever, dude. So life should be, song, color, dance, rhythm, beauty, passion, community, togetherness, the feeling of 4th of July or Christmas as much as possible, not just these couple days off of false thought, So, but I think that's what I got for controversial, political type talk from Calvin's mic. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I think that was good. I'm going to slide on over to Eddie now. All right, let's go. Yeah. So a little echoey on the jump, but probably just picking up on multiple things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna edit this one by muting all the different mics at the time I'm speaking on the other ones. So that's what I'm gonna do. I forgot my topic. It's like my topic is gonna be 19. This is episode 19, and 19 is actually as a number that's been resonating with me for a couple years now. So, oddly enough, episode 19 is a solo Ocean Waves, Indigo, Reyen, the Navigator podcast. So that's funny that it turned out to be like that. But my album's 19 songs. My life changed for the better. My life has been like, I've had a good life, so it's not like I can say that. But my life took a great, like, the turn. I turned the corner that I needed to journey onto the path that I'm on right now and continue on this journey of enlightenment and growth and peace and connection, and that was at 19 as well. 9 and 1 is 1 for any of you numerology people, and 1 is the leader. My life path number is 1. So just for different things, I'm not going to go into every single one, but that's one of my favorite numbers. I like number 47 as well. Balance. I got that from Capital Steez. Rest in peace. Shout out to Joey B and Nick Caution. Kirk Knight, CJ Fly, Anna Rose, Mick Jenkins, Flatbush Zombies, Underachievers, Beast Coast Squad, rest in peace, Mac. Shout out to Bob, always. Shout out to Russ for being a guide for the independent artists. So shout out to Russ for sure. Who else? Who else is? I've definitely been influenced by J. Cole and Kendrick. Shout out Absol, 100%. Shout out Ab. J Rock. JID or Jid, however you wanna pronounce that man's name. I remember that's a brand new story. I remember going to. Funny enough, the story why. My freshman year, Mac Miller was performing at our golf fest, the homecoming weekend. But I was a freshman, so at that time I was very much looking for the party, or enjoyed going out and doing those things, drinking and smoking and stuff like that. And on Saturdays we would go to this place called Nuzu, and we'd have this big day drink. Eventually, in time, there was one that the whole place was decimated with trash. And if I would have been able to have the premonition of the news article that would have came out, and it wasn't anything crazy. It was just on the news that there was we left all the trash but the school had been known for a party school in the past, and they had been trying to rebrand, right? So when it got to the news now, when we tried, they didn't allow it to happen. It really for the years to come, they killed it, And once you kill it for 3-4 years, anything, especially at a school like that, where some people are there for 6 or 7 or whatever, but most people are there for 4 or 5 years or 2, So in that mode, like the people that have these traditions, if you cut them off for like 4 years, then you break the line from the freshman to like senior, super senior connection, causing you to miss out on whatever traditions that you had, and it would bring room for new ones or new policies or new ways to navigate the situation that is college. So that was unfortunate, but at the time, like I love Saturdays, man. I love Saturdays. So, and I love Mac Miller too. I don't know why I didn't go, man. I didn't go. Maybe they gave me the perspective of it now, but I didn't go, and I heard him though and I saw like the stage. Like I didn't really see him. I just remember walking by, and I saw the stage, and I saw it happening. And I had friends that went there and saw him. And if I could go back, I probably would tell myself to go watch him. There'll be more of these. Not that many more because of what happened, but of them shutting it down. But that there was more opportunity to just fucking drink with people on a Saturday outside, you know. So, but at that time I was 18, you know. I'm an 18-year-old kid, and I didn't have the perspective that I do now, or obviously the vision that he was going to pass away, rest in peace. And I said this to say because I had tickets with my friends to go see him for a swimming tour, and obviously he passed away, and everyone who was a fan of him was hurt. I've been listening to him since Blue Slide Park, you know, so I'd listen to him through his whole, most, like 90, 85, 90% of his musical journey. I was a part of it all along the way, and it was definitely tragic, and it was like, I can't believe I didn't go see him before. I missed out now, and it's like, that's tough. But shout out to Mac, man. You know, rest in peace to him. He's made some great music, all different, at different eras. It was always great. And he was definitely making some of his best music at the time that he left. So, shout out to Mac. Rest in peace. He's definitely been someone that I've listened to, been inspired by. I said a bunch of other people already. I don't really want to double back on them. Anyone else that I missed? I know I'm probably going to leave the podcast and say someone else that I missed. Nah. There's some great rappers out there, you know. But just those are the ones that really influenced me. Like Denzel Curry too. Nas, Eminem, Lil Wayne has been around for a while doing this thing, pioneering in different ways. Shout out to him. Yeah, I think that's a solid. I think I shouted out enough people. That's solid. You know, and then Oceans on Arrival, man. That's the big one for me. Like now, I'm as an artist. Like when I started moving into becoming, or like into my artist side, I stopped listening to other people's music as much. I stopped getting excited for it, and then I stopped, and I have obviously my playlist when I'm in the mood, like, them songs are always gonna hit, man. Like, especially like the Flatbush Zombies and Underachievers and Joey Badass and Pro Era, those guys, Mick Jenkins. Like, Mick Jenkins has been killing it, Just so many. I always will listen to their songs, and I'll always listen to them Absol. And there's obviously, everyone's got songs that they like better than others and stuff, but man, when I listen to those songs, they'll always take me back into that era. Just like I was talking about with my music, They always bring me back to how I was when I was only listening to them. So now I'm, especially in the album mode, I'm very much like, I don't want to be influenced positively, negatively, creatively. I don't want to hear something and do something similar. I just want to do what I have, or just get out what I have to get out. And then go listen to whatever has been out, see what contends, and see where to go next in the journey of the music. I thought about something yesterday about maybe doing more storying. Maybe that was the other time. Yeah, maybe doing more like stories and stuff. So, but we'll do that after this album, and we'll continue on the trend we've been on with this one. And yeah, and I think that's like elevation. Yeah, that just sounded weird when I said it. I don't know why. Progression. The growth and the everlasting. Just moving forward and enjoying the journey. So as 19, 40 set, when I see those, just gives me like good feelings. Different messages or thoughts come from them. Numerology is definitely something that I want to continue my growth on, so I can be more aware of the signs that you get from the universe through numbers. And yeah, let's see. The Ravens won Super Bowl 47, so that was dope. But yeah, I'm trying to think if the topic, I guess, that Eddie had that I have read was his number. I wanted to share something about numbers because he had said something about 17, but really didn't have too much to say when 17 came around. But Eddie always does bring topics. He does. So I'm gonna do a random topic or two in honor of Eddie for always come prepared. They're always wanting to bring or lead the conversation in a certain way, or just to even see what will come from the idea or the topic for the people in the world to hear and listen to and take in and respond back to and give their opinion. And maybe, the end goal is always to help someone help themselves. That's always the goal. So, and to spread love. Yeah. And to enjoy as much of each day as possible. So, first topic, what was the last thing you purchased? Food. I got Panda Express. Before that, item, tobacco. And before that, I think some PlayStation. I bought like some PlayStation money. Or I put some money into PlayStation. But yeah, those are the last things. The next thing I'm going to purchase is an oil change. Yeah. Where's the most beautiful place you have been? Ooh. Beautiful is such a hard word to describe it, because is it like view or oh man, beautiful. Man, there's some beautiful places on the journey, man. Colorado, and we went around the country. going in, like just being in the West and just seeing distance. On the East Coast, you don't really see distance. You see buildings or trees or whatever, but just seeing distance and hills and I want to see it in the fall. Maybe that will top it. Um, Jamaica, man, the energy. I haven't seen all of Jamaica. Obviously, I've only seen a couple little parts of it. But when I'm there, man, it's so beautiful. Just the feeling, the essence, uh, the energy, what you see. Now obviously there's parts of Jamaica that might not. It's not all glorious. Anywhere you go, it's not all glorious. It's what I think someone said. Maybe it was Cat Williams said that. Uh, it's it it sucks for the people who live there. When you go visit somewhere, it's not like that. It sucks for the people who there's always something. So something along those lines where you know, as a tourist, obviously and then just the energy and the history of Jamaica and how I felt when I was there. Those all you know align into a beautiful experience. Both times I've been there, and I would definitely love to go back. It's a beautiful place. And the other same thing with the Dominican Republic, because the people who are there, like they don't have a crazy amount of money or anything like that, but just seeing the island, and we went on this like dune buggy tour that I saw one of my friends go on recently, actually, which is a geek. 'Cause I was like, I did that, and we went on dune buggy, saw like the farms and the fresh chocolate and tobacco and cocoa, you know, uh, and like coffee beans, and then going to this cave that had water. That was like a pool of water, but it was like 20 feet deep, but it looked like it was 5. Just some beautiful. I've been to some beautiful places, man, and I'm sure there's some very beautiful places that I have not been to yet, and I hope that this journey will take me there at some point, and I can relay at another time some more beautiful places that maybe someone might want to go. I don't know. What's your favorite way to waste time? Mm. Probably watching sports. Watching sports is probably my favorite way to waste time. It's pretty honest right there. I must leave it at that. Are you a saver or a spender? Both. But at this point, more. But right now, more. Oh yeah, both actually. Because recently I've been a spender, causing me to have to save now. Yep. All right, this is a good one to end off, Eddie. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? That's funny because we went to around the country, and each place, like I said, there's always something that's not good about it, and there's something that's good about it, great about it. There's always going to be, for the people who live there, it's going to be different for the people who are visiting. But when I went around it, nowhere really felt like the exact place to be. Um, obviously, like being out on the West Coast with the weed laws and marijuana is better, but it was more expensive. Um, so it's like your cost of living is higher. and everything, even gas and all that. So that's a negative. You know, Georgia's reverse. So there's so many. So seeing that and being in Canada multiple times, like I wouldn't live there full time, especially based off seeing the life expectancy number go down. So I would say, um, I haven't been to all the countries. Obviously, there's a lot of countries. I haven't been to a lot. I've been to some. I've been to a couple. A couple countries. But what I would say is where I would like to live is dependent on the season. I would like to have multiple locations to live at, and depending on like what the weather is and or where we want to be at, if we want to be in the mountains, we can go here. If you want to be in the beach, we can go here. If you want to be in just a normal, not normal, but like a suburban or like a population, a third dimensional area, right? Like just a classic like town, city, or whatever. Have somewhere for that, and then like another place maybe in Canada or another country like that as well. So those are my. I would like to live in multiple places. Maybe have a one hub place somewhere. I don't know exactly where in the country it would be, depending on how much money mattered. I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of life, but in the sense of like, if you're making this much, you know, you don't want like taxes and uh all that, and just the cost of living to negatively impact you at the end. Like, you want to like kind of even out at least, right? So in that sense, if you have a good flow of income and a couple thousand, 10, 20, 30, 40,000 goes to waste each year, if that doesn't hurt you, then you know you might live in one place more than another. So yeah, so that's my Eddie Mike bringing the topics. So yeah. All right, and we've made it to the final mic, Ryan's mic. I am Indigo Ryan, the Navigator. This has been episode 19. One of the numbers that resonates with me. So, you know. Mm. What I do today? Woke up. Thank the universe for that. Here again to deliver another podcast, and this is episode 19, day 5 of the Gauntlet. Feeling good so far. It definitely takes energy, a lot of energy, because you never know how long the conversation is going to go. I've been waiting, like I wait every day to see if they say they're going to come or not. Today they didn't say if they're going to come or not, so I started around midnight after I played some Fortnite. And I've been watching The Boys. I'll give them a shout out. I remember watching it when it first came out, and the first like is ridiculous, like the first scene, right? So, but one thing I liked about it was that it is like, it feels like what it would actually be like if they were superheroes, and yeah, and that's why I think I was drawn to it, because at the time when it came out, it was during, right, it was like 4 years ago, so maybe So it was like right before the end. It might have taken a hiatus with COVID. I can't remember. I don't remember the timeline of when it came out. And my phone's over there, so I don't want to figure it out. But I remember it was a right. It was at the. It was definitely at the end, no matter what, of like the superhero era. So just have going through so much superhero content and stuff around, it was refreshing to get a superhero content that was based off our current society and world. So, but then I didn't watch. Like I think I watched the second season too. Um, I'm not sure if I watched the whole thing. I think I did, but I don't remember how it ends. The second season ends. I remember how the first season ended, but then I didn't watch any more of it. And now 4 seasons are out, so now I'm on the path of catching up. And yeah, it's alright though. It's fun. It's funny because Jason's been saying to watch it again, and other people over time have been like, "You seen The Boys?" Like, yeah, and stuff like that. But it's like 'cause I'd seen it from like right when it came out, like the first day. So, and then not watching it, so then not knowing, so then now I'm gonna catch up. So if anyone wants to talk about it, I'll be there. Um, I'm on. At some point, I gotta find something to do where I can watch. Cause Fortnite is so like intense when you're playing that you can't like you can't pause, you know? And the reason I'm saying is because I want to watch or I started South Park. I've watched South Park for a long time and I've seen a lot of them. But I haven't seen every single one and you never get to watch it in order unless you go do it yourself. So I started from the beginning and early South Park, I don't get as many as the jokes because it came out in the late 90s. I was born in 96, so you don't really get the societal jokes until a certain age. So once I got to a certain age, once it gets a couple, I can't remember which season, but I started picking up way more. Boom, 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 and then I'll pick up most of it. And obviously, they're very clever, and there's always gonna be stuff that you might not just get the reference, or that you don't know their name, then you know then you see it again, and then you get the reference. So, but I'm on season 12, and I did that like a year ago, and and I haven't started it back up, but I watched 12. But I was playing Minecraft at the time, and that you can pause when something funny happens or a good scene, but it's like it's hard to watch it when you're playing Fortnite, not really fully paying attention, or it's hard to pay attention to two things so I gotta find something that where I can put South Park on. Find something, some way that I can multitask where I'm watching South Park and catching back up, and then also getting another task done because I don't want to just watch South Park. There'll be times where maybe when I'm eating, I'll just watch it. Whatever show I'm watching, I'll just watch. But then after a while, like I don't want to just watch. I want to do something too. So I'll have to find what that next alignment thing is. And then also the same. I've been watching other people's podcasts, Joe Rogan. I watched the Cat Williams one. And couple of different people. So I've been watching those, and I'm almost at like the end. Like I can kind of feel almost like with the music, where I don't really want to hear what anyone else is doing. But I think that's just because this is episode 19, and I'm still on. I haven't watched. I've watched the album interviews like halfway through, and I haven't watched any ever since I've edited them all, so I've seen them and heard them different ways multiple times, but I haven't gone back and just watched them. So now that tomorrow's about to be episode 12 out, finally, and recorded like a month ago. Now that episode 12 is going to be out, and them coming out in successive order, not once a week, they're going to stack up to 20 pretty far. So I want to be able to catch up. And some are only an hour, so they're not that long when I'm thinking about an hour 15. Like a lot of those Joe Rogans are 2.5, whatever. Some of them are 2.5. So in the podcast, the episode 0, the album interviews with Jason and I, with Eddie interviewing us, that one's like 4 hours, maybe 5 long. I can't remember. So that's why but I want to go through and make sure I take notes of them, so later on I can go find the clips that I want to find, or if someone needs a clip for a certain, like, just make it, just like we're talking about doing the tasks and stuff like that, task completion, getting things off your plate, off your chest, just trying to get those things that stack up out of your way. And once I'm 30 in, it's going to be a lot time to whatever, but I want to make sure that we're prepared for this year coming up soon, like get to that point where everything's working on multiple cylinders and we're functioning, because usually at this, it feels like we attend to one aspect of the ship at a time, and this year already it seems like we've already started to grow to working on multiple assets of the ship at the same time. So just getting to that point where we're marketing more, we're getting the videos up, music's coming out, just all that stuff, and just having it all work together. And then, like, the worst thing is if, like, if you mop before you sweep, like, it's still going to be dirty and you got to do the job again, or, if you don't thoroughly do it, you're just going to have to come back and do more work later. So just really just I don't just want to sit there and listen to them just to listen to them again. Like, I want to make sure that I'm getting the information I can get at the time by listening to it, and then also information that I can get for the future or I can just reference my log and find clips that we want or need or whatever, instead of trying to think over 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, hundreds of podcasts, trying to remember which podcast was which, So, and I don't want to get too far behind where I feel like all I'm doing is listening to podcasts and then doing one, So I'm going to start that, I think, soon. And I'm going away for the Ravens next week. Ravens play. Who knows? But divisional game, I feel like they're going to get it. I feel like they're going to win. At least that one. I don't know about the AFC Championship in the Super, but at least that one they're going to win, I think, 100%. That's how I feel. So I'm going to go for that. If they win that, I'll be there for the week. If they lose, I'll drive home and probably pick up a shift or two at work to catch up for taxes and keep working on everything else. So in that time, there's time, drive time. That's like 11 hours or whatever. The only thing with the driving thing is that I'll be driving. So, you know what? I wonder if there's a fucking, like, a memoir, like one of those voice recorder, the memoirs. Because I could sit there, press the thing, see what time it is, boom, this is this time, and then I can just be driving and listening and say that, and then I can write it down later. That's adding an extra step. But see, even that, just that thought process, I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to do it so I don't waste my time. You don't want to use a wooden pickaxe if you can use stone, in Minecraft reference, and waste your time, right? So, Eddie always says he loves wasting my time. I think I don't really know exactly why he says that, but I don't really like to waste time. I think that it's valuable, and but I'm not perfect. Like I'll get sucked in my phone. I think that's because I'm avoiding something. Whenever I'm on my phone, I'm avoiding. That is a way of wasting time. I feel like in some way, like I'm like, okay, if I like subconsciously you kill 20 minutes, and now I'm closer to be doing this and this and that. And I think that I just need to do what Calvin and I have been talking about was idle time, like what to do with idle time. And I think I just need to I have a couple little doors or windows that I haven't opened yet, and I just need to open them so when I'm in my idle time, there's more ideas flowing through, or I can spend it wisely multitasking, maybe drawing and listening to South Park or there's so much to do, man. It's crazy. So, what's the point of wasting the time? On top of the fact that you got to go waste all those hours going to work, so. But, episode 19, number 1, new beginnings, Technically, this is the end of the catch-up. No, fuck what you mustard. I'm about to relish in it. We caught up. Something like that. I don't know. That was fucking terrible. So stupid. No, I'm just playing. But technically, it's episode 19. If we stick to Thursdays, because Calvin Bowles, that being the day to do podcast, episode 20 should be Thursday. It's Tuesday right now. I'm going to do one tomorrow, whether they come or not anyway, which will be 20. But if not, technically we are on pace, because if the Ravens do win, I'll be gone for a week and I'll miss one. And if I'm the only one if I'm the one who's going to be on every single one of them, at the way it's looking at this moment, then one won't happen when I'm gone. So, that being said, we need to have one for that missing week. So, that's why I chose the 8-day gauntlet and whatever. So, here we are, day 6. Tomorrow's going to be episode 20. I'm not sure who will be here, but we'll be officially caught up. We're technically officially caught up now. It feels good. I think it's, in one way, Jason is right that I should do this more often. This is a good thing to do it every single day in some facets. And I think by doing it now, I'll be more inclined to do something like this, or to do the podcast more often, whether it's by myself or with other people. It's more fun with other people. It's more fun when there's all of us here and the ideas are bouncing off each other, and it doesn't feel like there's as much pressure on one person to say anything, to keep it entertaining or whatever it might be, so. But the reason I said that is because some great ideas have come out of this, but on the other flip, and then the other side of it, spending like 2 hours a day doing this, the amount of time it takes to edit, and then when I edit and I bounce, I can't use the computer, so I can't really do music or anything on that. So, and then on top of the fact of May is coming up, so just maybe getting to the point where how do I make it easier on myself, where this is more achievable to do maybe 3 times a week, or every day, like once a month, do it every day. I don't know, but I think it's just the act of doing it more, having more out there, getting what you have to say out, just doing things, if you're gonna, and so maybe this will be something that turns into a more often occasion, but for now, I'm very happy that I've caught back up. I've had help. We're back on track to 1 a week. Since we started, there's been at least 1 done per week. Not really, but you know, most of them. So, and then here on out, we shouldn't have a week where one doesn't get done, and maybe more than one should get done each week. So, I don't think, I think this moment, this past week, has been one of those revelations of change and just understanding my role and my position and what I'm here for, and the importance of sticking to what you believe in and putting in the work. Um, and it's a give take relationship. Like, I gotta give myself in certain ways to the universe. I ain't out here putting on no dress, you know. So you gotta give yourself, like, it's sometimes more fun just to sit and play Fortnite or whatever. But that's not, unless you're streaming it like one of those big streaming guys on those platforms. Like, you're not, except for enjoyment maybe or whatever. I mean, that game's just like pretty intense, and it's more fun when you win. What was I saying? This is tough. We'll probably, yeah, we'll probably move this into, because I know just the traveling of the voice or whatever, and doesn't feel like much of a studio. I really do like having the sign at the front of the house, but it is what it is. We'll move it into the more, because it just, like, the little creaks in the whatever. It's almost like a little subconscious, like they can hear what I'm saying. And it's just like, what are they thinking about that? So I always, like, lose my little train of thought for a second, because I'd think like that, and then I have to, like, tell myself to stop. And when I stop, by the time I tell myself to stop, the train of thought has went that way, and I'm trying to catch up. But we'll let that last train of thought pass, and I'll pick it up when I go back and listen to this. But yeah. Oh, I think I was saying, you have to be willing to do the work. You have to put yourself in the situations and push yourself through certain situations that it might be like, like, if you're like, you got to run that mile instead of walk it, and you might be tired, but sometimes you just got to push yourself through, and you'll feel better for it at the end. I feel great now that I realize that I'm at the end of episode 19. My thought process from all the past month or whatever, in the past, as weeks go on, we kept missing them. All that's out the window now, because now I know I can just sit and record one by myself if need be, and the Ocean Waves podcast is above all of us. This is a platform that hopefully other people want to come and speak on, like Cat Williams did with Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp created this platform, and he showed Cat Williams enough that Cat Williams trusted him to come onto that show and speak freely and truly, right? So I hope that this becomes, I know it is a place that people can come and do that and speak freely and be comfortable on. And hopefully listeners and fans and my friends and whoever else who's listening or finds it can find that place of comfort, that energy, and I'm hoping that this will turn into that, where people will want to come. But at the same time, if we have one episode a month, like, that's not going to help us for attraction. It's not going to help us get better. It's not going to help us retain information, or, you might every once a month be more inclined to say the same things because you forgot you said them, but I feel like I'm just opening up these chapters now. And it's nice to have other people, because the ideas and the conversation bounce off like that. But sometimes it is better it is good in certain ways too to just have yourself, because now I'm navigating my own mind and my own energy and thought processes to try to pick out the things that I should say, need to say, want to say, you know, say it in a elegant way. Like Eddie, that's a good word that Eddie brought up yesterday, or 2 days ago. Elegant way on, yeah, it was day 4 of the Gauntlet. He said it. And I'm sure there's people who podcast every day, and it's not going to be, to them, that's not going to be a big deal. But I don't know if those people are doing it on themselves. They might have help too. And if they are, good for them. Like, I'm sure there's content who do it every day, but I also think that's all they do as well. Now, they're not, or there's maybe one other thing. It's not, that's how I feel. Maybe there is, I'm sure there's going to be some other guy out there who's just a super beast. Whatever. So I don't want anyone, I'm not like thinking that I need like, oh, good job, man. But I think just for myself, just knowing that it's not easy, it's easy to sit and talk it's easy to sit and talk, but to try to keep like a flowing conversation going, one that might be entertaining, one that will, and then on top of the fact, the afterwards, the production side, the editing it to make sure that, the words and the vocals line up, everything that should be in it is in it, anything that shouldn't be in it isn't, and then uploading it, and it takes time to bounce the video, it takes time to upload it, so that's all hours that you have to go through in order to get the product out. So that's why I want to make sure I don't sacrifice. I don't have too many that stack up, because I want to make sure the product keeps coming out and not sitting in the vault stale, And then that also brings me to, we brought up a couple in this, that where I was going with that segue of that ideas have come up. Like, one of the ideas was if there's technical difficulties, to have that card. We have another idea that I'm gonna bring up to someone else, and I'll talk to Calvin tomorrow about it. Yeah. And then I have another, and then we said another idea on the podcast that's coming out tomorrow was like having an intro and an outro. So we have like I turn the sign on, like we turn the sign on, that means we're live, and we say what episode it is, and we introduce ourselves, or we say, whether it's in the beginning and like we have these things, but to create more official, to make it more official production and things like that. Like, I'm thinking about that too, but the amount of time that it takes to do that at the moment, and whatever it's, I don't have all that time or that ability to have it done by myself. So it's going to take them to help to get it done. But as a group, as Ozone Arrival, that's something I think that we need just to make it more pleasant for the viewer, and more than just a camera sitting. Because, like, I know people's attentions, if people are watching it, like, then if you just watch this only, like, there'll be times I'll be listening to a podcast, and then I'll look at the screen, because I want to lock into what they're saying, how does it look, what they're saying, catching, just being able to get a visual too, even though you're not in the room. So, Joe Rogan, they have this changing angles and stuff, so all that stuff keeps people engaged. I know that, and just having the one flat camera angle probably doesn't keep people engaged too much visually. Only maybe when something happens and we laugh, they want to look, but maybe at this point, the audience, the beginning audience, the beginning listeners, those people who are finding us and who are listening to us, maybe they don't need that mindset. Maybe their mindset isn't like, maybe they just appreciate people trying to do things and just doing them. They create it, they make it happen, they do it. Right. This podcast specifically, 19. I got the camera up, I got the mics up. I did one of all of them, obviously, but and then I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna do everything for this, especially for this specific one. I'm gonna do everything for this one. So, and I don't think there's anything to cut out that I've said right now. that I can think of. So this one won't be as hard to edit, and there's gonna be the audio that I meant to do, but uh and there's obviously little things that I could always in the thing you could go in and we mentioned something, we could put a picture up and whatever. So there's so much, but that's all room to grow though. That's all progression. That's all what I see in the future. I see the better production. I see the whatever, and then maybe that's when the future when we need to actually get more people listening for real. Like obviously it would be a blessing if more people started to listen, if money started coming in where we didn't have to go to work and all that stuff, like obviously. But the journey until that happens is a blessing too. So the progression of where we are. So when you see episode 19 and when you see episode 190, it's going to be a way different thing. You're going to see the progression. Joe Rogan didn't start with the production he's at now. He started and they got better and they did and whatever. And now he's at 2,000 plus episodes and he's got the deal with Spotify and a lot of people are listening to him, and COVID helped that in different ways as well. So, there's going to be a time that I feel like all that's going to happen. But so maybe the actual, for Oceans on Arrival, the mass eyes, that will come later. And maybe that will, when we need those eyes is when we'll need to kick up, or the production will have to be kicked up by then. Like having the different ideas we have, the intro, outro, blah, blah, blah. But the people who are listening now, all y'all really need is the audio. Is the picture of all of us on the couch or just me right now speaking, because we will give you our inflections, our whatever, and you can just to see it and get that little visual. But at the end of the day, like, we're making music, it is a podcast, like it is about what we're saying, what the vocals of it, and so because of that, I think the people who are listening now, they're watching because they're entertained, or they're gaining something from it, or they're just, they're a friend that, loves me and they just want to see what I said, and that they're listening to podcasts anyway, why not, but at that point, it just feels like the people who are truly listening now are like, I love y'all for real. I appreciate y'all 100%. And I know you have to be a special mindset to do it, because of how so much things are presented to today, and how like cookie cutter they are, and how much the production gets people's attentions with the little clips and whatever. I can understand why people might not stay for the whole 2-hour conversation or whatever, or they might want the different camera angles cutting from people's heads to be a little closer, or to have Joe Rogan's Jamie where they put on the screen whatever they're talking about, or just that to me is all progression, what's going to come in the future, and will show us progression. And I have that idea and I have that visualization of that coming. But for now, I'm trying to work on the album and whatever. So for me personally, there's so much. It's like, the snowballs. Like, I can't work on this snowball forever. Like, I gotta just get it and start rolling them, because I got so many to do. But maybe once the album's out, whatever, then there's more time to kind of dive into trying to just get these little extra ideas out, just a little flavor on the visual part of the podcast, for instance, so that people who are watching visually maybe want to, instead of just listening to it, put it on their TV and just sit there and be like if you were sitting right there and I'm talking to you right now, instead of, just not being there. Like, feel like you're here. I want you to feel like you're with us. I want you to feel like, because there's a lot of times where I'll be in a joke, I'll listen, and I like want to say something to him like really bad, but I can't, and I'm not gonna go comment. I just don't, because it's not like live like that, I guess. But just, you're not gonna get that. So that I do. So, but it's still a good feeling to feel like you're there and feel like, what would I say? And maybe that's just because I like doing this, and I think I would do great on his show. So maybe that's why I'm more like practicing or whatever. Like, what would I say, or what are my thoughts now, you know? And but then there's the same thing with music. Like I feel like I'll be more prepared to go on a podcast than I would, which is weird to say because I've been doing it less. But I've been talking then for whatever reason. I think I just think I would be more nervous to go to like a studio, like a big studio with like a big artist. I think I would probably be more nervous. That's the real wording. I would be more nervous to do that than I would to like go do Joe Rogan, because the eyes might be a lot. But I just feel like speaking, I'm more self conscious about the music. I think, and like just for whatever I'm still maybe after this next album I'll be more like podcast, fucking studio set, doesn't matter. Throw anything at me, I'm down. And I'm still down to do it. Like, I'll still be there. I'll still participate. I'll still do my best, but just that nervous, that self-confidence, that's when that self-confidence needs to really shine through in those real nervous times, right? So, but I would say, yeah, just because I've been speaking for so long, and then since 19 I've been speaking and I've been becoming more elegant with it. So I think I would be more comfortable, less nervous doing that at this moment than go doing a big studio session. But I would definitely not turn that down, man. And I love to do all of it. So I think once I get some more snowballs down, new opportunities will open up, and we'll manage time differently as the years go on based off what tools we have. But for now, I think that this was a solid podcast. It was episode 19. I am Indigo, Reyen, the Navigator. Feeling good, feeling caught up, feeling like we're back on the right track, and less weight is on my shoulder, giving me more room and more energy to jump and fly to the next task, the next goal, the next idea. I'm at the same time enjoy being able to sit right here and enjoy the seconds go by, because I'm really in that mode of what's the rush, but why wait? And each day it's a little balance, somewhere leaning between what's the rush and somewhere leaning on why wait. And you just gotta, some days are more let's relax, let's chill, and some days are more like let's go. And I think you gotta balance those out, and stick to your, if you set like a little plan or whatever, stick to it, and try your best to see it through, see out the idea. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. And then if it doesn't work, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay, whatever. But, don't let time go to waste sitting idle. Because some people don't get this time. So enjoy it, And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my night. It's super windy out, cold, but I feel very accomplished. I feel very blessed to be here. Thank you to everyone who came tonight. Thank you to everyone who will watch this in the future. Maybe we'll be live, like Jason said, one of these days, and we'll have people watching. I hope to have some guests sometime soon. We've done 19 podcasts since this 19 weeks ago. This is the 20th week. Tomorrow will be the 20th. We'll officially be right back on track, right back on the path. This was day 6 of the Gauntlet of 8. That's just something I've never done in my life. I've never done 8 podcasts I've never done 8 straight days of podcasting. I'm sure other people have. So maybe it's not the best feat or the biggest feat ever, but for me, this is a big feat. This is a goal that I wanted to accomplish. It looked like a far reach last week. now I'm 2 days away from accomplishing it, and what's better than accomplishing your goals, man? Love, enjoying time with the people you love, and enjoying being alive. So we're gonna leave it at that. I'm Indigo Reyen, the Navigator. This has been episode 19, Ocean Waves Podcast. Ocean is on arrival, of course, on every platform: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Pandora, Amazon, Tidal, whatever you listen to, we're on there. Much more to come from us as a group, on all media platforms. Albums coming soon, and much more to come. Anyone who's on the ride right now, we appreciate you. Anyone who's going to come hit the waves later, we appreciate you as well. So whenever you see this, whenever this finds you, I'll be here waiting. Let me know. Let me know something. Just let me know something. Because I'm down to listen and hear it. I'm down to conversate. So peace, y'all. Love.